Hello. You might have to bear with me one sec, because this is my first time streaming. Can you hear me? Cool. So the plan is that I'm just going to be studying, but you can, if you want to ask any questions, then if you go to click on Learn, Tutoring, then you can just message me here. You can use $$ for latex. Like that, it's free. And then I'll see the messages. You can send images whatsoever. Yeah, doing good, voice with math. How are you? A good complex analysis book for master entrance exam. What do you mean exactly by master entrance exam? Okay, so is that like a first course in complex analysis? If I can give you recommendations for that. Hello, GNU. I've probably butchered that. So what I had in mind was, just gonna look at my take my university schedules. Let's find algebraic geometry. I just take the content and ask it to build me a course on this content. I've not done this before, so I don't know if it would be any good. Hi Gabriel. Yeah, first course. Okay. So I've shown off the book by Marshall a few times on my channel, which is the colourful one with lots of pretty pictures, but it is non-standard in that it treats, it comes from the angle of analytic power series functions first, whereas most courses do like holomorphic as complex differentiable and then show its equivalent to power series representation. But one I really like is, I haven't read too much of it, it's called Complex Made Simple, and its intentions are similarly aligned to that of the book, the Abstract Algebra book by Marco Hien, in that it's trying to really get you inside the mind of the mathematician. So maybe you can take a look at that. Other ones which are quite well known for being good is the one by Priestley. I think she was a lecturer at Oxford. She might still be. But maybe this is on the slightly less rigorous side. But I don't know, it's still probably quite good. I tried reading this before I knew any real analysis, so. So this looks promising. Looks like it's getting most of the content. Algebra 2 book. What's Algebra 2? What does that mean to you? I've heard of IOQM. I'm not sure. IOQM, what is that? AMC for India. Yeah, it's interesting actually. Do you think it's harder in India to make the team? I don't know. Because what's higher algebra? So for a second algebra course, I think, yeah, I mean, my review on the recent Abstract Algebra book, I think is it is good, but it's not. Because I had set it up to be like, is this the book that could solve all my issues kind of thing. I didn't really wanted to emphasize that it is good, but it is not like so much better than other things I've read. So that could be a place you could look at. Also the one by Luffy, I've read a bit of. It's quite nicely presented. Something's going on there. Do it this way. Taurus, how much is your audience is Indian? I think it's no more than 20%. When I made the video about the Bangladeshi family, I think they're Bangladesh. That was one of my earlier videos, and it was one of the ones that took off. At that point, it was like 30% Bangladesh viewers, but now I think it's like it's roughly 20% US, 20% UK, 20% Indian. How much from Bhutan? That looks like a pretty country, look at that. Anyways, if you've just joined, you can use the tutoring feature on Math Hub. It's free. Just ask me any maths questions, send me your work. So, after graduation, I want to do PhD from Cambridge or Oxford in pure math. How should I prepare now? Are you an undergrad in India? Yeah, okay. So, I don't know, right? Because I haven't reached that stage yet, but what I can say for sure is that if you're in Cambridge and you want to stay in Cambridge to do a PhD, it's pretty brutal in terms of like your ranking in part 3 is really important, because they have this this sort of mindset where they think it's better actually for your academic development if you don't just stay in one place your whole academic journey. But that said, they also really want to keep the best talent. So from that perspective, if you're an outsider coming in, then they're slightly more open doors to you. But yeah, I really don't know. I think just the way to prove yourself is try and get some research experience, maybe, but did I take A-level further maths? Yeah, I did pre-U, but also when I did it, it was COVID, so our exams were just past papers that we had access to, so that doesn't really count. You want to do pure maths, but your parents want you to be an engineer or doctor. Yeah, tough spot. I guess there's I've got one of my close friends is Indian, and he had a similar thing in that his parents are quite have a lot of expectations. I think both his parents are doctors. But if you just I guess you just prove to them that you're passionate. But like I said, I don't know, it's a completely different culture. Alright, let's take a look at these Presumably they have past papers. Does this look right? C 2023. At the end of it, the number of positive integers for a positive divisor. Yeah, I think there is some truth in that. My skin, but like it is hard. I mean, especially if you're dependent on them, I guess, you're living at home. Like it's easy. It's an easy thing to say, but looks pretty good. That. The end of the number of positive integers, positive integer divisors of a positive integer n. Trying to remember my course on number theory. So how compared to like the American ones, do you know how much like trickery is involved? Because in Britain, at least the early couple rounds, it's like they try and make it so that in theory you don't need any tricks. You can just sort of logic it. good source of exercises and problems at undergrad level? I mean, it really depends on what topic you want. I mean, all the Cambridge example sheets are online, but there aren't solutions. But they are good in terms of like really, they will get to like they'll get to problems where students will commonly go wrong, so that's good. But I guess it's annoying if you can't spot it. You bought linear algebra done right. Nice, yeah, that's still on the list. It looks good though. I mean, I really want to see the determinant-free approach. Alright, let's get to some studying. Just a reminder, no one wants to ask any questions in maths questions. But if you do, just send a message to me on the tutoring bit of Math Hub. And also, if you ask a question in chat and I miss it, just keep asking. I've got like 5 different screens up right now, so. You think of the variety in Do you stream regularly? No, first time. I thought, I watched a stream of some guy just like speaking his thoughts as he was solving problems, and I was like, this is pretty useful, like seeing how mathematicians actually like think as they're struggling. But I guess it takes some time to get used to, like trying to think and run a stream. But I think that's really useful if you can see other people's thought processes. Favorite branch in math? Well, it has flip-flopped over the years. I mean, the first big one was analysis for me, and a lot of that was because there was an appeal of it like, being notoriously difficult for first years. And then, at least in my opinion, what happens is you get like second and third year, the content doesn't really like conceptually become that more difficult. It's more just more and more like trickery. Like, of course, this is very general, but it's so now, I've been drawn to algebra, but I think perhaps where they intersect and where you use them both to do things like geometry, algebraic topology, That's what I find quite interesting, but we'll see. I've still got time for that to change before I make any big decisions. Should make a video on how to take notes for mathematical subjects. Yeah. Do you mean like taking notes from a book? Because it's actually quite interesting how people take notes in lectures in Cambridge, because it's some lectures are just like insane in terms of how much you're expected to write down and comprehend in one go. And actually I've sat next to the senior wrangler a few times in lectures, and well, I think he probably learnt the content like a few years earlier, but he just like writes down the occasional word and switches between different lectures on his computer, like it's crazy. Have you had any exams where you have to write all of the theorems and proofs for them? Do you mean... I'm not too sure what you mean exactly, like... There's a proof recalling component in our exams. So the questions are they're 20 marks, maybe 10 of that will be like book work, so just proofs you've learned. Paul, hi Paul. Any advice for taking a class that feels too advanced? Yeah, I think one thing is that I think it's definitely okay to go through a course. It's very common in Cambridge as well because of the pace, but it's definitely okay to go through it missing a strong sense of like what is like really getting a strong grasp of all the details, but sort of high level, roughly knowing how it all fits together in like proof sketches. And then you just, in the holidays, you just go over it again and spend more time on the bits that you feel you're weaker on. But I don't think necessarily it's a bad thing to take courses that demand prerequisites that are weaknesses of yours, because then you have a good excuse to try and improve on those as well. So yeah, I think don't worry so much if your first time round doesn't feel like you've completely mastered it. Is statistics mathematics? Oh, for reference, I've taken an intro to analysis class. Okay, so you're preempting that you're going to struggle with measure theory and metric spaces. So Amir, what's that? Yeah, I think statistics is is mathematics. favorite math textbook? That's a hard question to answer when you have quite a lot. I think there's something to be said for at what point in your journey do you first read the textbook, because I think you can read books which you could get on very well with in a year's time. If you read them too early, you might not have a great experience with them. One book I really was engaged by was Differential Geometry of Curves and Surfaces by Tapp. It's got lots of pictures, lots of colour, but that course as a whole, that's my supervisor was who I mentioned at the end of the last video, who's 89. That was his the course that he was supervising is differential geometry, and it was just really engaging, really exciting. Just seeing someone so passionate about something, and has been so passionate about it for so long. It's interesting how like some mentors can just shape your journey. But so that's definitely up there. The coordinate ring is a quotient ring. What exactly did you try? This last sort of 24, 48 hours, there was, we had storage issues because site's growing so fast. Your exams are 6 to 7 hours long? What? No. Decomposes according to the influence of axis over cubic. this will be has unique representatives by polynomials degree at most one. Do you get a break in those 6 to 7 hours? Because it doesn't seem too ethical, really. Also, have I experienced much with burnout? Yeah. Yeah, I think this is fairly standard advice, but burnout is largely a case of you're putting in work past the point where you're not enjoying it so much on a regular basis and you're not seeing a reward come back, whatever that means. So I don't have anything too helpful to say other than if you can just take your foot off the gas on the areas that you feel like you're having to push past the point of enjoyment to learn, but that might not be possible depending on your situation. But oh, Chinese remainder theorem. The 4 hours creative work a day. Yeah. I mean, I think Hardy and Littlewood, they were really productive in terms of their output. So maybe he's got something there. 4 hours. But I think if you as a mathematician now, I'm guessing, but I would suspect that there's a lot of you have to do a lot of other things. You have to teach, you'll have meetings, you'll be part of a group, you'll have meetings, and so I don't know how many hours a day you can actually have free to sit at a desk, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was 5 or 6. For anyone who's just joined recently, if you want to ask like a maths question and send me your work, then just press the learn button on Math Hub, go to tutoring, and just send me a message. It's free. I think live tutoring might be quite interesting. Pairwise co-maximal. Oh yeah. We consider it that Q. I'd be interested to know actually what, how people feel about the like the 3D animations in my videos, because they take so much work, and like the video about abstract algebra. I mean, obviously that was a lot of work to read the book, but basically it's just put a camera down and wave my hands around and show the book off and talk about it. But it's like every 10 seconds of animating something mathematical is it's a lot, but you like it, yeah. Well, I mean that's part of the issue, is like I'm so used to it now that I can't bring myself to animate things in 2D. How do you know the difference between burnout or heart problem and not having the prerequisite time? Yeah, it's something you develop. I think you do develop a sense of, is the reason I'm not solving this problem because like it's content I don't know, there's a trick that I'm missing, or is it something that like I really should be solving but maybe I'm tired and can't see it? But it is annoying. Well, you do learn a lot, even if there is a trick that you don't know. You definitely do learn a lot by thinking about it for a while, but then this is something that I think I could have been better at in the past. It's being really sticky to problems that like I've not been able to solve, and I can suspect that there's a clever trick, but like I just can't bring myself to like call it there and look at the solution. But I think, yeah, just with exposure, you develop a good sense of is it a lack of understanding, or is it a trick you don't know, or are you just a bit tired? Yeah, when I show important, yeah, that's a good point. I think it's because like just getting it all set up takes a while. Like in my mind, I feel like it's been there loads, and then I render it, and it's there for like 0.5 of a second on the screen. Comax or items. Hello everybody, that's just joined. Are you planning on a PhD? So if you'd asked me like a few months ago, I would have said definitely yes. Resin, what's up? Canvas in trains, how's it going? But now, I think still maybe. I think obviously I've thought quite a lot about what is coming in the future and what skills are valuable, and I think research in lots of different forms will be one of them. But whether that's in maths or I'm not sure. And it's not an issue of like it would be a hard decision to leave, but I don't know, I think there's always a risk. Well, there's a risk with most things you do, but there's always this sense of, do I actually have it in me to come up with something original? And I guess you can see, like, as you solve problems that you don't know how to solve, like, even though it's not new to the world, like, it is new to you, so you can get a sense of it, but also, it's like with anything in life, if you want to do something that other people haven't done or find hard, like, you need a really good reason as to why you can do it, and more so than just I'm special in some way. It doesn't mean anything. So I don't know. I think my skill set is probably well aligned in that I can be quite persistent and sticky to a problem, and so that's probably quite good for research. Decent patience, but I don't know. How do you do in GCSE math? Yeah, I think I did alright. I was the first year where they introduced the 9-to-1 grading system. So I also did further maths though, and that was still A star and then A distinction as well. But I remember my calculator was in radians for the further maths exam, and at the time I didn't know what radians was, so that was interesting. You tried out Copilot to give me the eigenvalues of the matrix and give me the wrong eigenvalues. How complex was that? Was that matrix crimson? Oh, the latex has gone through wrong. And a fine variety V is irreducible if it cannot be expressed as a union of two proper non-empty subvarieties. Algebraically, this is equivalent to the vanishing ideal being a prime ideal in the polynomial ring. Check if the variety is irreducible using its ideal. Well, it's isomorphic to 3 copies of Q, so that's an integral domain. So the ideal is prime, so it should be irreducible. Some H's. A 3x3 matrix with all real values. You said that was Copilot. Yeah, I used Copilot because they have this new feature where you can generate 3D models from images. And I tried it out and it was not good. Did you do UKMT math? Yeah. I did, but my main focus in sixth form was physics Olympiads. So I think I did at the point where you have like Maclaurin, you have like kangaroo, then Maclaurin, is that right? I think I did Maclaurin. Oh, yeah. Variety is just... Of course. So this is what happens when you try to stream and do maths at the same time. Yeah, Jaiswal, it's not cheap, and it's not expensive because we want to make it expensive. It's just like every message you send makes like 4 different calls to APIs to get like your intention, it analyzes your response. Then there's a skeptic team that verifies that what it's outputting is actually correct. So But the good thing is that in time, as models get better, then everything just gets cheaper. So hopefully we'll be able to make it cheaper as the models get better. So that's the situation. Alright. You're happy with pirated online books? Where do you pirate those books from? I'm obviously not going to comment, but I'd be interested to know for research purposes or just general knowledge purposes. See if I missed any questions. Yeah, I wonder if there would be much interest for how I make the 3D animations, because like I've seen some videos online of people like, there's a guy who does like stuff with the brain and like brain animations, and he made a video about how he makes them, and he got like almost 1 million views, but he didn't even really talk about how he makes them. He just said the name of the software. So, and the other thing is that with like the models, AI models are not, it's not quite there yet, but the software that I use to make the 3D animations, Blender, I believe they're integrating AI into it like soon. So if you can just type what you want in your 3D scene and it gives it to you, and you can then like move the camera however you want, that's really cool. Sci-hop, what's that? Maybe I shouldn't do that live on the stream. Apparently getting a job as a mathematician beyond a 1-2 year contract is also... Yeah, it's competitive. Really competitive. That's the other thing. It's like, I don't think you can put yourself in the mindset of what it would be like to like do maths essentially as your livelihood depends on it as well, because it's, if you're not producing, then why would someone keep paying you other than your teaching responsibilities? But I wonder if that I mean, it must change the relationship you have and how it feels to do maths. Have you ever considered studying AI in it itself as a major? Oh, hey ATL, LTL, how's it going? Yeah, it's the Discord server. I've been off Discord for a while just because there's just been so much going on with everything. I mean, videos. It's but I came back on this morning, and I'll be on there much more regularly now, because I did feel really detached from the community aspect recently. Have you ever considered studying AI in of itself as a major? So this is there are my courses that I'm going to take next year. I am thinking about should I mix in some other non just like relentless pure courses as well, like massive machine learning. I'm pretty sure I will put it up as a video. And the reason why is because I think I wouldn't want to do like just massive machine learning and like applied courses, because I think the big benefit of pure maths is that like just the way it trains your brain to think, even if you then leave and go do something else, is really valuable. But yeah, it's definitely something to think about, because if I just do exclusively pure maths and then want to go into the real world and do AI research or something, then you need to have skills and exposure and projects and things. So you started your linear algebra course this morning. Nice. Is that as part of the college? Have you intended to jump to quant? So I've done the internship experience. Well, I haven't got one, but I've been through the application processes a few years in a row, and yeah, it's brutal. I had like maybe 3 or 4 final rounds, and it certainly has an appeal in its fast pace. I mean, that's something. Well, quant trading at least is that's something which is very different to maths research. Is the pace and the quick feedback. But then I'm not sure how. I don't know. I obviously need to be a bit careful with what I say online. So it is appealing in terms of the demands it places on your brain. It's a very different set of demands. But maybe I should look more into quant research, because that's what my brother does. He got his PhD in something to do with machine learning, I think. Machine learning and biology. What is quant? Quantitative finance, yeah. So, hello, Portia. I was wondering if you'd be watching. Well, if you could give me a hint as to where that OA is with, then some of the processes actually on paper don't require so much knowledge or studying, and it's more about like brain function personality is actually a big thing, especially for quant trading. Well, that's what I assumed because you said you were in Ireland, so. I think the tests probability, maybe a few brain teasers. I've done it a couple of times. Prob and stats, yeah. Roger's probably done it a couple of times for research, maybe. Define the assignments. Setting x squared equal to y. So dy to t squared. Prove that the union of two affine varieties is not necessarily an affine variety. Is that actually true? What's that? Prove that the union of two affine varieties is not necessarily an affine variety. Well, I guess if you just take, if you take n to be 2, and then you can look at a degree 2 polynomial, like x squared is 1, and then also x squared is 2, then the union has 4 elements. And if we're working over C, then it's a C Yes, the question is there a ideal in CXY? Such that Oh, you just take n is 1 and then the argument works. Take 2 lines that intersect. The union spline. Oh, okay. Consider the affine variety. So intuitively, it's the points where y is x inverse. So it's the set of points. It's the set of units in the field. Pairs of units together with their inverses. Show why its coordinate ring is isomorphic to that. Also, V is the set of pairs x, their inverses, such that x and k is a unit. And so if you're 0 on this whole set, then I want to argue that you must have a factor xy minus 1. And then the isomorphism is pretty clear. So you don't have a factor xy minus 1. Then you can argue that any factor is a sum of monomials, and since the inputs are pairs of an element with its inverse then gimps. Let's have a look at that. Great internet MSN Prime search. Oh, didn't some guy spend like millions just as like a personal hobby to find? Is that this? Oh, fair enough, whatever floats your boat, I guess. So, what other videos would you be interested in seeing? So, there was the suggestion of how do you take notes. I was thinking about something to do with the process of reading a book, but it does depend on the book, on the topic. So, hello, MA27. I also need to figure out how to, like, if it's possible to have like my phone camera as well recording the paper that I'm writing on, because I appreciate it. Torus, how do you get so good at maths so quickly? I don't think I got good quickly. Depends what you think is quick. But I think I matured fast because of trying to read books independently and being a bit relentless with that. But that wasn't the most pleasurable experience, but it did mature me quite quickly. Problem solving and the thought process behind it. Yeah. I'm sort of waiting till it hits me, like there's a problem that is sort of, you can follow along even if you don't really know maths, but it also really well highlights like this cave analogy that I was talking about in the last video. But that would make a good video. Although I found in general my videos on like actual maths, because a lot of my audience come from like a book review or like me chatting shit about someone else, like the actual like maths videos aren't received too well, but I keep pushing them out there, I guess. Generate a diverse audience. Okay, what was I doing? Oh yeah, show that this any polynomial that's 0 on all of the pairs x and plus has to have an xy minus 1 factor. So I think about it like the polynomial ring over the ring ky. The most accessible problems are from number theory. Yeah, you're probably right. The strange thing is, in Cambridge you don't take a number theory course until 3rd year. And it's like completely maybe some of the continued fraction stuff. So k is a u of d, so ky is a u of d, so ky over x is a u of d. And k is a field, so ky is an integral domain, so kyx is an integral domain. And since xy minus 1 has a unit as its highest degree viewed over the ring ky, then you have the division algorithm. And so you can argue that way that it must have an xy minus 1 factor, and then the isomorphism follows from yeah, that's true. Good law behind number theory. Interesting. That's a very good suggestion. I'll get thinking. Cool. Whoa. Going for an hour and a half. It's actually quite fun. Are there any more questions before I round it off? No one wanted the tutoring session live. It's fair enough. I guess maybe it's a bit vulnerable live. NT is quite accessible. Yeah, it's true. Okay, well I'll leave it like open and free. maybe it will make more sense to sort of store them up over like a period of a week, and then do it all live, maybe. But no, this was fun. I will look into doing it more regularly, and also getting a camera like on my paper as well, because when I'm thinking, I guess it's quite boring because you just see the screen. But thanks for the suggestions. The next video, yeah, maybe it will be more like the process of problem solving, or the process of taking notes, or maybe we'll try and get Terence Tao on the channel. I wonder what his hourly rate is for public appearances. Is that publicly available information? Terence Tao hourly rate. Makes $500,000. Yikes. Not sure I have the budget for that. How do you prepare before? I mean, I can't say I've specifically prepped by going back over stuff. I think some courses I have learned early, and so I guess like during the summer when I've been learning them, I've probably been reviewing material from the year before. But I actually don't necessarily recommend learning a course early, but learning it like with the exact notes you'll then be using for lectures. Because what happens is that you might learn it like 70% well on your own, but then you go to the lectures and you feel like you already sort of know it, but then so you disengage a little bit, but then you miss out on like, this is just my experience, but you miss out on that extra 30% that you would have gotten, like seeing it fresh and engaging and going to all the supervisions and stuff. So, but everyone's different, I guess. Anyways, thanks all for watching. This is good. Hopefully we'll get on it again soon with a better setup. Yeah, see ya.